think we start with our chanting, maybe daily chanting or weekly chanting, daily practice. It's about in English, someone can lead.
Spencer?
Sure. Should we do English first?
Just to English.
Okay. Homage to the Guru and the protector, Venerable Manju Gosha. Your wisdom is brilliant and pure like the sun, free from the clouds of the two obscurations. You perceive the whole of reality exactly as it is, and so hold the book of transcendental wisdom at your heart. You look upon all beings imprisoned within samsara, enshrouded by the thick darkness of ignorance and tormented by suffering, with the love of a mother for her only child. Your enlightened speech, endowed with the 60 melodious tones, like the thundering roar of a dragon, awakens us from the sleep of destructive emotions and frees us from the chains of karma. Dispelling the darkness of ignorance, you wield the sword of wisdom to cut through all our suffering. Pure from the very beginning, you have reached the end of the 10 bhumis and perfected all enlightened qualities. Foremost of the Buddha's heirs, your body is adorned with the 112 marks of enlightenment. To Manjughosha, the gentle-voiced, I prostrate and pray, dispel the darkness from my mind. Om Arapatsana-di. With all of your kindness and love, let your wisdom's shining light clear the darkness of my ignorance once and for all. Grant me, I pray, the intelligence, the brilliance to understand the scriptures, the words of the Buddha, and works of the masters. And whenever I wish to look upon you or ask you anything at all, Lord and Protector Manjushri, let me see you without any hindrance.
Yeah, okay. Lama Jana.
You want to skip ahead to the English, James? O Lama, care for me. O Lama, care for me. O Lama, care for me. From the blossoming lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, rise up, O compassionate Lama, my only refuge. I am plagued by past actions and turbulent emotions. To protect me in my misfortune, remain as a jewel ornament on the crown of my head, the chakra of great bliss, arousing all my mindfulness and awareness, I pray. In the three jewels, in their essence, the Sugatas, in the three roots, Guru, Deva, and Dakini, in the nadis, vayus, and bindus, in their nature, bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. In the three jewels, in their essence, the Sugatas, in the three roots, Guru, Deva, and Dakini, in the nadis, vayus, and bindus, in their nature, bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. In the three jewels, in their essence, the Sugatas, in the three roots, Guru, Deva, and Dakini, in the nadis, vayus, and bindus, in their nature, bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. Ho! Mesmerized by the sheer variety of perceptions which are like the illusory reflections of the moon and water, beings wander endlessly astray in samsara's vicious cycle. In order that they might find comfort and ease in the luminosity and all-pervading space of the luminous expanse of awareness, I generate the immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity of the awakened mind, the heart of bodhicitta. Ho, like bubbles appearing on water, all of you deities arise from the space of primordial wisdom before us. I prostrate in direct awareness of the ultimate nature. I offer the increase of visionary experience. I confess in the full measure of awareness. I rejoice in the exhaustion of phenomenal reality. I implore you, turn the wheel of Dharma from the expanse of great transference. I request you, please remain in the great rainbow body. I dedicate all the merit towards the youthful vase body.
Thank you. And we can look at that seven-line prayer again, if you don't mind. We see what we have there. James, can you go back to that seven-line prayer? Yeah, here, of course, when we say practice, often involved with these words, and it carries meanings. So here especially, these Guru Rinpoche's practice sadhana, Lama practice. We have 7 branch of accumulating merit or offerings. And you can see the first 4 lines. I prostrate in a direct awareness of the ultimate nature. So of course, this in Dzogchen practice, we have 2 types of practice, yeah, cutting through and direct transcendence. And these first 4 lines are particularly talking about these 4 visions or 4 appearances or 4 pure visions practice, these 4 levels. First appears ultimate reality to our awareness directly awareness of ultimate nature. You will learn, we will learn, or we can learn, or you can read other texts to see what these 4 visionary practices are in a particular Dzogchen we call Toga practice. And then second one is increase of visionary experience, increase, or sometimes we translate that intensify the pure vision. The first one is directly encounter with the pure vision. And then third one is the full measure of awareness, or full measure of a vision that already sort of fully formed with mandala stages and others. And then the fourth stage, which is almost Buddhahood, or the exertion of phenomenal reality. So it's, of course, people translate differently. All dharmas are exhausted in a dharmata, or the exhaustion of phenomenal reality. So it's, of course, when we put in English, it's not standardized, but think about these 4 are the first or the 4 visionary practices that are involved with Toga practice, which is the most advanced practice in the Dzogchen. And here in Jigme Lingpa's or Guru Rinpoche's writing, it's using these connecting with the prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing. These 4 are the 4 visionary practice. And then, of course, the final Buddhahood or great transference, which is the result, either sometimes we call equate to the rainbow body, but rainbow body is a result of attaining the great transferences. And then sixth, that's to request you or Guru, please remain in a great rainbow body. That is the ones in a through these four visionary practices will achieve the final great transference, and then its result will be remain as a great rainbow body to benefit all other beings. And then dedication comes in a merit towards the youthful vast body. We talked a little bit about this before. I don't know our group was there or not, but this youthful body is either Dharmakaya or the Samatha, or we can take this as a beginning first Buddha, or even think about our own Buddha nature that now is covered by our obscuration, conceptual, dualistic conceptual that's obscurated in our Buddha body. It resides in our heart center. That is a metaphor for youthful race body. That youthful body that resides in a vase means if we put a small statue in a vase, then we cannot see through outside, but inside it has Buddha nature or Buddha body, awakened body, or sometimes we call Rigpa. So that is what we have here. It's even you can see in the Dzogchen or the Nyingtik tradition, Longchenpa or Jigme Lingpa's sadhanas, even we talk about the Guru Rinpoche's sadhana, this gathering of Vidyadharas. Vidyadharas means Rigpa holders, the awareness holders, which means whose awareness is manifest. And there, of course, many Vidyadharas, but this particular sadhana is talk about the 8 Vidyadharas that if we maybe have time, we will learn in the future, particularly this sadhana. So I'm just pointing out this, whenever we read something, it's good to know what we are reading. And these readings, I think, bring us or give blessings and also sort of encourage us to understand further or practice further, and then hopefully bring to the result, which is here talking about whether we could talk about the after the exhaustion of phenomena into dharmata, then we achieve the great transferences, and then due to that, we are gaining great rainbow body that benefits others, and we are mainly still abides in the youthful race body. So this is for Dzogchen practice, particularly Nyingtik practice. And Nyingtik is not only cutting through, but it's more Toga practice. Toga is direct transcendence practice that we can talk, or if you have more questions, we can talk about that. And then today, of course, we have always have more and more texts we can learn. And Rinzin Jigme Lingpa is the most prolific writer. In the Nyingma tradition, Longchenpa and Jigme Lingpa, we call father and son. Similarly, in the Gajupa, we call Marpa and Melareba as father and son. And this in the Nyingma tradition, we call Gunqian Yapse, which means omniscient father and son. So omniscient Longchenpa and omniscient Jigme Lingpa. We know many of you already have a great chance to get many Nyingtic empowerments and oral transmissions. Most famous Nyingtic that for collections or 4 parts, or even people saying not 4 parts, 5 parts, but whatever we think. So earliest collection of these the heart essence tradition, we have Bima Nyingtik. Bima Nyingtik means Vimalamitra's writings that collected in up to Longchenpa, their lineage writings and practice manuals, and also sadhanas. And those are collected in modern days. We have 4 volumes or 3 volumes, depend on how you categorize it. And of course, then here wonderfully categorize this mother text that Vimalamitra, Heart Essence of Vimalamitra, which has categorized these 70 tantras are not included in these texts, but it sort of belongs to Vimalamitra tradition. And then agamas or these teachings, we have a golden letter, turquoise letter, copper letter, conch shell letter, and variegated letter. Is this called precious 4 letters, which means variegated letters goes under or include in copper letter. And then we have 119 pit instructions. Either you want to Sanskrit Upadeshas or Agamas is pit instructions. And then we have Heart Essence of Dakinis, which is Guru Rinpoche's lineage, comes down to Dakini, Yishin Sogyar. Yishin Sogyar is Guru Rinpoche's consort. And that collection is coming from more in Dharma tradition. And the Dharma tradition revealed by Pema Lender Tsar, who is one of the Guru Rinpoche's disciples, female disciples reincarnation. And that also has 3 volumes. And so the subjects matters are similar to the Pema Nyingtik, but lineages are different up until comes to Longchenpa. So these 2 are we call mother texts, and then we comes to the daughter's letter or daughter letters or child letters. Then we have Longchenpa wrote these 2 quintessence of the Guru and quintessence of the Dakini. Guru here refers to Vimalamitra, Lama Vimalamitra, and Dakini refers to Yishin Sogyar. So these 2 are what we have. And each also contained 2 volume. That's Longchenpa's, purely Longchenpa himself's own writing. And then we have this Samoyonte, innermost essence of the profound or profound quintessence. That is kind of further distillation of these 2 daughter texts that Longchenpa's are writing. And we have, you can see there's also 2 more volumes. So it's totally either we depend on but 13 volume or 11 volume. That's what we have, this 4 part of Nyingtik or Nyingtik Yashi. I know many of you, fortunately, get empowerments or transmissions of these. This is really the core text of these, what we call Nyingtik. Nyingtik means heart essence tradition. And you can see how these heart essence, early heart essence, Longchenpa's time, how he compiled, and still we have these all texts available in printed form or online. So, and also the lineage is still vibrant. And many people has this lineage, so that's why we are getting empowerments and order transmissions time to time in the US, Europe, and Nepal and India, and Tibet is more often to get these teachings or empowerments. And based on that stance, of course, Longchenpa wrote 7 treasuries that we often talk about, Chuyingzu, that I spent quite a lot of time on that different our centers to try to introduce or share what I know may be beneficial to others. So these we don't call Longchen Yingtek. This is called just Yingtek Yaxi or 7 treasuries, and then we have trilogies, Longchenpa's 3 trilogies, and then three, the moon cells, spelling of darkness, that is more commentary on Guhyagarbha Tantra by Longchenpa himself. And then miscellaneous texts that we can find. But according to tradition and history, that Longchenpa wrote tons of texts, but when he went to Bhutan and then he come back to Tibet, the many loads on yak, the texts that load on the yaks are carried out by river, and there's many texts could be lost, but much more would have if we have all. But so whole Longchenpa's compiled text these days, there's more than book form. There's 26, I think now keep growing, but there's 26 volumes. You can, of course, sooner or later, maybe available in English. So you can see here is didn't really mention the for part of the Bima Hard Essence tradition because these Bima Hard Essence of Bimalamitra and Hard Essence of Jakinis are not Longchenpa himself's writing. It's just he compiled together uh, to become three, three volumes. And then you can see here at the 7 treasuries that wish fulfilling treasury and treasury of pet instruction and treasury of Dharma Dadu, which is Chunyingzu, and then treasury of philosophical tenet, which is available in English if you want to read. And then treasury of Supreme Vehicle, that is also translated by Sanjin Khandro and Lama Chunam. We have that. Then treasury of word, no, sorry, treasury of Supreme Vehicle is not.
I don't think this one is published.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this one is not translated yet. This is the most highest Dzogchen teaching, and also very giant. There's 2 volumes of it. It's compared to others, it's much bigger. And then treasury of words meanings is there already translated. And then treasury of the nature, state, and so forth. You can see how many are available there and how many are not if you are interested in. Some are more kind of comprehensive philosophical tenets, you can see the philosophical tenet and so forth. And then you can see the trilogy of Dispelling Darkness. We have this giant commentary on Dispelling Darkness in a 10 direction, which is the main one. And then we have these others you can see here. And then trilogy of Finding Effort and Ease, and then trilogy of Nature, Freedom, and collection of writings and so forth. So these are what Longchenpa's writing we have.
Kempo, can I
And
ask a quick question?
yes,
This the all creating King Tantra, this is the Kunja Gyalpo Semde.
yes.
Longchenpa's commentary on it, this jewel ship, is this something that people pay a lot of attention to? Is this prominent?
It's a permanent, but Kunxi Gyalpo is some text, and Chu is most based on the Kunxi Gyalpo,
A lot of quotations from it.
and that's why it's sometimes once you focus on something need to prioritize. So this one is not prioritized. Mainly this dispelling of darkness or dispelling darkness in a transaction. That is famous, and that is teach in a sort of not really theaters, but special occasions that teach by a special teacher. I remember I got teachings from this one very famous Kempo. Kempo Pense is his, we call Pandita, so almost like modern days, one who has a Pandita title. And he come to Nepal to teach, giving empowerment and teach. And all over the famous lamas, Trukus and Kempos come to Nepal. Dzogchen Ponla Rinpoche was there, and Zika Contra was there, and other sort of Western famous teachers that come to Nepal. We at 3 months getting together every day, almost how many hours, all day, maybe teaching and empowerment and instructions and so on. This particular text, this emphasize teaching. Some texts are not necessarily go through detailed teachings, but this particular text is tradition of Nyingma goes very detailed. So that is also translated as well in English. You can find that as well. So that is a general kind of introduction of what we know through this. What we are chanting is important. Yeah, chanting what we are, what is our goal, what we want to know, and what these lines say is important. Maybe one day we can standardize these four visions, and maybe then more what is great transference, and what is great rainbow body, and what is youthful race body, and so forth. We can learn those slowly. But
Kempo, can I
today,
make one more comment that might be helpful to people who are still getting it together?
yes,
So this text that Kempo was just discussing, the Dispelling the Darkness in the 10 Directions, this is Longchenpa's commentary on the Guyagarbha. And then the text that we're hoping to study with Kempo very soon, Mipam's text, Luminous Essence, is based on this text. Just so people can keep it clear that there's the Guyagarbha and then Longchenpa's commentary and then Mipam's commentary after that. Okay.
yes, and that is how we know. So that's the Dzogchen. If if you you care about, or you know about, or you are wondering about, or you are interested about, and you are wondering why it's called Dzogchen. And Dzogchen, of course, the great perfection. In Chinese, even we have good words there, 大圆满. So greatly, everything goes around that greatness and great perfection. Yeah. So usually, the great perfection means everything subsumed in our own Rigpa or mind nature. There's nothing that behind, beyond, outside, or there. And so that's help us a little bit to see we don't need to worry about anything. Everything subsumed in. So today, that is Longchenpa. How before Longchenpa, 14th century, we are talking about how many centuries ago, famous Longchenpa. And at that time, the collection on the heart essence, we are not talking about just the great perfection. Great perfection is much more than that. And then we have 18th century. We have Rinzin Jigme Lingpa. Somehow I have very karmically sort of fortunate that when I was 13 years old, I was introduced Longchen Yingtek tradition, the Jigme Lingpa's tradition. Without barely read Tibetans can hold the text and can sit with seniors. Soon as we start with these sadhanas that we just read, I have no idea what they are saying, but at least I participate, and whole day the pujas are very long. We do Lama Yideng Khandro, all these protectors and all preliminary practice. It takes wake up maybe 3 or 4 o'clock and nighttime talk. When talk comes, it's almost nighttime 11 past 11. So that kind of pujas are what we do in Tibet. And especially when I was the youngest one, and they led me to make all the dharmas and all the talks. And then the dharmas are, you can learn. You can learn, and you can slowly you can getting better, and you can make nice shapes and so forth. Tibetan is cold. Tibet is cold. Butter is not as the slippery or the melting kind of in Florida in the summertime. So we trying to put a butter on the tarma is impossible, but in the Tibet it's quite freezing, so butters can form quite nicely. But most my difficult part is talks. Talks, you cannot put water in samba. You need to put sort of oil, ghee, and all kind of substance to make really kind of dry. It's very difficult to press together to make a nice shape, and then I need to make 108 of them each time, and it's very you can feel that your hand is a few days is not function as you want. So that kind of practice I I do, and that's why maybe that's also a sort of childhood uh, practice that also brings back to again and again this circle. And somehow out of nowhere, I got these old texts, and then suddenly I got another very nice and Jigme Lingpa statue by another Dharma friend. I'll show you. Uh, it's blurry. Uh, Usually, I hardly see Jigme Lingpa statue by myself in Dharma stores or bookstores or even statues, but somehow out of nowhere, someone say, I have a Jigme Lingpa statue for you. So that is interesting, some connection. And that's why this Jigme Lingpa and the Longchenpa, these two are the most prolific writers in the Nyingma tradition, and along Jigme Lingpa is directly sort of considered as Longchenpa's student. It's not even many generations gap, but it's visionary or in a wisdom's sphere. He appears to Jigme Lingpa 3 times and give teachings, oral transmissions, and pet instructions. So all the teachings are given by Longchenpa to Jigme Lingpa. And that's why it's called, in the 18th century, these, we have, if you are familiar with Zabu, Zabu means these rude texts of Longchen Yingte, which usually have 3 or 4, depend on which collection. And that is called Longchen Yingte. It's called Longchen Yingte, Longchenpa's Yingte, but it's really, it's a term of Jigme Lingpa. So that's why if someone asks Longchen Yingte, is Longchenpa's writings, not really Longchenpa's writing, but Longchenpa's lineage in Jigme Lingpa, he had these all texts. And then, of course, Jigme Lingpa himself has written very famous, maybe Westerners or Dharma circles know that Yishi Lama. The Yishi Lama is the most profound writing and teachings that talks about these 4 visions that we talked about. And most other famous teachers mentioned that when Jigme Lingpa died, the students before he dies ask what we do, what we learn. And then Jigme Lingpa say is, after I die, you should study Yishi Lama. So Yishi Lama is sort of me. And that's why this important. But of course, that's just another level of commitment maybe to learn, and also trying to find qualified teachers to teach, because that is involved Dzogchen preliminary practices to all the way to the what we just see, the 4 visions, and then the after exhaustion, then direct transference, and then great rainbow body, and then sort of youthful waste body. That's where we belongs to. And that's a whole structure. And in order to practice that, I think there's need to make a little bit of commitment and also so everything in there, sometimes people just have this Ishilama text or Hindu text and their headboard to worship as the omniscient Father and Son. And our book or the text, that's what we are. I'm kind of trying to say is sometimes people worry that I don't have a oral transmission, I don't have anything. That's why I cannot read this, I cannot chant this, I cannot. So that's in the Tibetan style. We don't really have that. That's why I'm saying I was 13 years old. I participated this senior group, and as soon as I can read, I need to read or chant text that whatever they have. So you see, when I was 13 years old, I was chanting and reciting, and these texts that I showed you earlier, we have 4 visions, and those I have no idea of what they're saying, but the chanting and those, I think that's sort of karmically imprinted in us and give us some sort of karmic seed that can grow from their understanding and so forth. Any questions before we start our text? Okay. So these particular texts, how I or who introduced this text to me? Yeah, I grew up practicing or Longchen Yingtek, which means Jigme Lingpa's treasury and texts. There's other texts that also beautifully done in aspiration prayer for Capercala Mountain and so forth. You can look at that. But the first, this particular aspiration prayer, somehow until about maybe 2004 or 5, I didn't really know this text, how important it was. And I didn't encounter somehow many texts that we chant together, popular texts together, but somehow this particular text doesn't comes naturally to me. And then I met Garchen Rinpoche again and again those days, and then one day he introduced this text to me, and another Lama is saying, these and Mipam Rinpoche's text that GBI, another Lama taught, I translate that one. These 2 texts that he says very helpful for practitioners if you practice a meditation. And then he gives long through just memorization. Doesn't need to look at the text. And he memorized this in prison. And so these 2 texts are his really main aspiration prayers that he says helps the meditation. And now we have a small booklet to make a green book that Of course, whoever have been in GBI already have it. I was thinking I bring a bunch of copies, but somehow I end up only I have two and one give to Mariko. So, but you can find online and others. So sometimes difficult to hold, too tiny. But if you need larger fonts and so forth, you can do it. And these texts is called, in the Tibetan, it's called Neluk Dorji Tsikong. And maybe now someone or James, you have, you can, yeah, that's good enough. These Vajra verses on nature state. And so this, whenever the Tibetan says Vajra, it's we have Vajrayana, Vajra. So Vajra represent a lot of things, and of course the main part is Vajra means unchangeable thing. All these Vajras, these verses or these lines are so powerful, like thunderbolt. And this is versified form in a Tibetan, and also these, if you look at the colophon of the text, also it's has a sort of larger uh, uh, description on that. And these, you can see these texts in the Tibetan has these two circle with a line between. That also makes these texts terma. Terma means treasury. It's not just Jigme Lingpa's on composed things, but it's whether Longchenpa's directly giving to or rise as in his vision practice. So either way, this is all other verses. And also, of course, this is aspiration prayer. Aspiration prayers are very important in the Tibetan tradition because it's in order to practice. Yes, James?
Sorry, Kempo, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just curious. There's a Tibetan character before the title of the text and a Tibetan character before the homage that I'm not familiar with. Can you clarify what that is?
Yes, this is only occur in tertiary text,
Fair enough.
and the actual character is with Shamtu is Wu, and then top as a sort of Ma is Wum. It's usually it doesn't really emphasize on the meaning of it, but it's the sign, the mark that shows this is tertiary text. I couldn't hear.
So that whatever that syllable is, it's not pronounced. For example, when we say the homage to Glorious Samantabhadra, there's not a syllable that represents that we pronounce when we recite the text, is there?
No,
Okay, thank you.
that's not read. That is just the actual writings. Texts would have, if you show me the Mipham Rinpoche's text, maybe beginner, there is something that decorative headings. You can see, yeah. On the top, there is look like a two eye upside down eye, that is the normal Tibetan writings start with. Usually we have text. The text has in front and back side. Sometimes they call this side is in front, and then the back side is. Back side we don't have, and the actual text we don't have. But these two circle would look like a eye with eyebrows upside down. That is a totally decorative how to start the Tibetan writings. So the tertiary text with uh, this wu is same function uh, as that, but that we don't. That is not character. That is sort of a decorative motif that just showing so elegant of the Tibetan text. So since English, we don't have that here. Sometimes people do this first letter capitalize, italicize, or something that you can see in writings similarly. And of course, then these verses now we know is terma, tertiary text. And here we have this homage. I think the homage is, you can scroll down on just English, maybe it's fine.
I have a version that has the English and the Tibetan side by side, if that's useful for the teaching session.
I think it should be okay. I'm just looking at Tibetan here, and we have, so we are using these version of translation. If people are looking at others, let me know. But we don't think too much about the translation itself. I think we're trying to make understand what Jigme Lingpa is saying. And here, the homage to the glorious Samantabhadra. So Samantabhadra, we know, we have in King of Aspiration prayer, we talk about that. Samantabhadra is Bodhisattva, whose conduct is perfect, because Samantabhadra is translated as all good, or ever positive, or excellent, or whatever we call the Samantabhadra in Sanskrit. In the Tibetan is Kundu Sangbo, means ever positive, or ever excellent, ever good. And this glorious Samantabhadra truth you can see in a Samantabhadra prayer in a Nyingma tradition. We have often we chant Garchen Rinpoche's favorite, another chanting that Gompa Santar's text. And that text, of course, Samantabhadra truth as the first Buddha, we call primordial Buddha. And there also, these texts, or that text also often used as a first person, yeah. I'm Samantabhadra, and my prayer goes to all sentient beings, and so forth. So this is called first Buddha. Why is it called first Buddha? Because in a Dzogchen tradition, there is before samsara and nirvana. Maybe that magnify a little bit the image. And that, so we know this Samantabhadra is very popular term that sometimes or we can describe our conduct, our view, and our meditation, and our fruit. So these homage to glorious Samadhi, that is usually the Nyingtik tradition and Nyingma tradition. The Samadhi is a Dharmakaya form. That's good. Samadhi is Dharmakaya form, and it's we talk about other traditions, or the Nyingma tradition, the Sambodhikaya form is Vajra, so that's same Buddha, that Dharmakaya and Sambodhikaya in a different. And now that is homage, often used. Homages are used most texts you can see. There is homage. And maybe someone or some of you may not have the oral transmission, but it's ideally in person I could give, but I did that in Florida or somewhere else. Maybe some of you have already, but maybe I read transmission here online today to you if you don't have oral transmission of this. Serap dangwe gewa gun du de shan chu chen bo ngo namo to nang kanya sin de ma. Namo to nang kanya sin de ma le kanya chen chu chu namo cha sin de mo to nyo mi sin de sin de sin de kanya. Kon bon ru je namo to nang kanya sin de ma le kanya namo cha sin de ma to nyo mi sin de sin de sin de. Kon bon ru bara je ne lu dor je zi gong shu para guan de san po la chen za la ji ni la do na shen de la ji. Lam la sha zura yene da de ning je zhu za jin ju ge de jian ma yin de yin ju ru wei de qian min de ba xin ne tou ji xiao de de ge ge de wang hang de yin de ye wan de nyung ma ra ne ba ji ji ge xin jiao na ju de ne yin ne me zhu ge song de guan de la de tu de na la de de ne shi min jiao de ne ma ne ge song de de la da me lai xin gu de gu ma ma la lang zi ye ju me la de de ju rong ju ta la de to lo ji ye ge na de ge ji de ge ji ju ne ji ne ji re hong Menga ji dong dong na to nam to shu guru zhu mi de ge zha dang zhu ge ye ne zhu ge zhu zha de hong ji wei na yin. Ten zi yin xie za me ba ra song song to ngan to long ma ben gong qiu zi ma nong yi xie re ye yin gen ba. Xi ri ge rong zu ma xu re nan de le lo ba xian me gu ke zi yin jia dong zhu zhu dong la ba zhi dan nang ba de yi xie wa sa ya dong jia yin zi de ji. Sama ya da dan wei jin jie zi zi la xi ri gen de zong ba yi xin la gong ju zhuo zi nong gong la ma dong nong ba de ge wang mi da ba. Min sam ga de ge wang mi da ba de gen de na wei ni zhu ge min sam ka nu de wei zi ren qian xiu jie lo zi ba nian jie zi ma dang jiang de gen de wang de gen. En de kon na on de tang zhe gun jian xiang long yu. This text is not that long. Of course, it's very good to keep in a daily practice, familiarize and chanting. If you chant Tibetan, it's fine, and English, Chinese, maybe in other languages would be available these days. So we can go back to the text, and sometimes it's Dzogchen teaching. So we need to sort of familiarize what is the ground, what is path, what is the fruition or the result. Not these three, sort of. Longchenpa's writings, we already know that I introduced a few times that maybe you are there, you're already familiar with. Repetition is sometimes maybe boring, but you need to hear again and again these things. It's okay, maybe. So the ground, you can see the word ground here. The natural state of the ground is free from complexity, and the ground appearances are Rigpa Dharmakaya. The path has always been clear of effort from very beginning. When this nature itself is realized, it's the great source of freedom. The fruition is not something separate and set apart. You can see here said ground, path, and fruition. So these three are sort of important. I think if we are trying to achieve something, or want to achieve something, that means fruit. And in order to achieve something, then we need to, it's the Buddhist teaching we call path. A path means you need to go through to get somewhere. Maybe these even we go on airplanes, but still have these skies. They make sort of invisible routes that airplanes don't take randomly as well. So this path is used as a path. And then we have ground as other term. So sometimes we need to learn term itself. What does that really mean? Because in the Tibetan ground is he. He means the base or the foundation or the support or the ground. So that is the things where it is situated. So those kind of idea. And nature state of. So these ground should be as nature state. Nature state means unfabricated, undoctorated, and it's nature. Either you call reality or ultimate reality or whatever we call, but still it should be a natural state. That's ground. The ground itself is, of course, has complicated messages in here because generally what we say in Buddhist teachings, we need to understand the natural phenomena or not the ultimate reality. Madhyamikas, Nagarjunas, and often teaching through Madhyamikas that emptiness is the nature. And then Buddha nature, we have another nature. And the combine or union of the Buddha nature and emptiness. So we have this union of emptiness and luminous nature. That most of practitioners would understand, or that is the basic kind of requirement we need to know. If we don't know that, then it's really difficult to build upon our meditation practice because the path is include how we understand and how we meditate and what kind of conduct we rely on. But first, of course, the ground. The ground, each level would have ground and path and prison. That just means that there is a basic nature, what we can rely on, what reality is, and then how we can cooperate that with the practice to achieve our goal. And the ground here, of course, Dzogchen ground is a little bit more than a simple this triad ground path version. The Dzogchen ground is talk about the origins of samsara and nirvana. What kind of state in before samsara and nirvana, which we don't need to think about something in a billion years ago or something happened. It's talking about the right moment when our thoughts, concepts rise. Where is rise from? When we go to deep sleep, waking up, where is rising from? And also when we go through pardos, so where these thoughts and these visions and these things are rising from. So this rising from the ground. The ground is either we call before samsara or nirvana or before confusion, but before each moment has sort of sometimes people at that we can call gap or not, but either way, that is the basis of it. It is not really samsara, not nirvana. It's the natural state, which is free from complexity. Complexities are, there's all sort of complexities that are existing, non-existing, birth, death, and ceasing, and all kind of conceptually kind of designated things that doesn't apply to the ground. And then the ground itself is a neutral state of our mind nature, but then the ground appearances are Rigpa Dharmakaya. And this the ground, the first ground is free from complexity, which is primordial purity, or primordially pure means in the Tibetan means at the beginning there was no any complexity or no any observation or these extremes. And of course, then we are in a samsara, and we in other prayers say this a single ground yet two path and two fruition. That's two. Two means then we have two things here. Two things are the samsara and nirvana. So these two arises from the ground. And then we treat Rigpa or Dharmakaya as a sort of it's not as neutral as a ground, and that's why it's called ground appearances are Rigpa Dharmakaya, or appearances of ground is maybe even more of a thing. It's ground is not appearances, but appearances of ground is or are Rigpa and Dharmakaya. That's through that, then we have Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya, and those are can rise. So these understanding is important because these, if we understanding this way, then means our ground is neutral, or ground's appearances, even there is Rigpa or something enlightened aspects are Dharmakaya. So there is nothing that not Dharmakaya. And that helps us, whatever thoughts arise, or whatever disturbing emotions are, still we are situated in this ground, and we are not stray from the ground. And that makes us we can look at our mind nature to practice, cutting through practice to the meditation technique is not how much you can work on to just eliminate the thoughts, but how much techniques you can settle in or rest in the nature of this Dharmakaya or Rigpa on the ground. So that is a very important aspect of it. And we talk about a little bit about this, how to practice it. So this first part, first two lines, you can see clearly shows the defining what the ground is, means what reality is. And then we have the path has always been clear of effort from very beginning. So the path means the practice. How can we practice this what we have, or where we are, where we're in? And if the ground itself is uncontrived and free from complexity, that is Dharmakaya, and that in fabrication of the nature is Dharmakaya, then our meditation should be match that. So in order to match that, then comes to it through understanding and meditation. So only these two we can achieve that level. First, we need to understand what is Dharmakaya, what's Rigpa, what is ground, and so forth. And then comes to, in order to experience, manifest, actualize, realize, recognize, whatever verbs use, then we are engaging with the practice to bring this realization or experience in, and that's for path. And the path is packed with, of course, will, meditation, and conduct. These three, what we can do. And the ground is primordial purity, nature state, free from complexity. So we cannot change ground. We only change our views on the ground. We have maybe perfect view on the ground, or we may have wrong view on the ground. We have misunderstanding on the ground. So view is there is a correct view or incorrect view, and good view and bad view. And view is totally depend on ourself. So that's why ground and view are sometimes people make mistake, or there's not really clear teachings on what is ground, what is view, because ground is describing what they are, and view is talking about how much we understand. So our understanding should match the reality. That is then has become very powerful, because once we misunderstood or our understanding is not fully matched to the reality or our mind nature, then it's really difficult to follow the meditation that are also matched to the view. So ground, describing the ground, defining ground or teaching on the ground, that gives us to make our view more sort of correct, or if we want to make corrections on our view, or if we fully understand the view or matched perfectly, then we don't need to worry about, but still we need to think about the ground. And meeting, we talked a little bit about maybe just show views. Mariko, you say maybe a little bit about the view. Maybe don't show the text now. And we are here. So, and meditation. So now we know the ground, reality. We know perfectly that's called view. And so how to practice, how to meditate. So very simple. Seems very, should be very simple. Because it's, if we understand correctly, we are in a Dharmakaya. Then we would not have much worry about it. But our thoughts are keep rising and keep busily rising. And somehow we need to settle that thoughts in Dharmakaya, somehow dissolve into Dharmakaya, somehow dissolve into our mind nature. That is the technique we need to learn. And I often introduce that because most of the phenomena rise naturally, and we don't need to worry about that. So open eye, open mouth is usually introduced by my teachers. Open eyes means sooner or later we cannot just avoid what we are seeing. We need to deal with that. And then open mouth, use airs comes gently, and you don't need to hold on the breath, or you don't need to focus on the breath, but just gentle as possible. Because as long as we are alive, maybe we need to breathe. And then moment, how long we want to practice, that's duration we need to dedicate fully 100% on that practice. You can see many lamas fully engage Dharma practice everywhere as possible. Like Gachin Rinpoche is constantly training money wells, but he meditates. He put on a table, and he meditates. So any activities that body, speech, mind involves is totally fabrication. Even is perfectly motivated and wants to benefit all sentient beings, and but that still involves a lot of efforts and complications and motivations and so forth. So usually many of you already know that I introduced this particular looking is your two eyeballs just look at your behind of your head. Not trying to see things that you are behind your head. People say, what should I need to see? Or what I need to see? Do I need to see back of my head? It's not like that. It's just because our minds need to direct somehow in a Tibetan or Chinese. Chinese even have Kanxing that there's no proposition, but Tibetan have that same lata, the same look at the mind. So once you look at the mind, obviously we cannot look outwardly. Mind is not out there. We need to look inwardly. How to look inwardly? Not only thinking is not looking, so that's you need to know. Thinking is not looking. If you think, then you are not looking. So looking is directly at your mind. So that is just directionally you need to focus inwardly. Focus inwardly means even your physical eyeballs trying to direct behind of your head. Even maybe very short time. But it should stop your thoughts. If these cannot stop your thinking, then your method of looking is not perfect, not correct. If you need to hold on to seeing your mind, that's probably not going to happen. But at least repeatedly looking inwardly, because thoughts will rise repeatedly after when you look in. So this is the method, and today we have not much time here, but it's good to start from here, thinking about we are in the Dharmakaya, and then our practice is simple yet very profound. Yes, Jacob.
Thank you. Alan Wallace says, I've heard a teaching he gives, which he gets from, I forget which teacher, but I'm sorry, not a teaching, but guidance, where he talks about generating a intentional thought and watching sort of where in the mind that thought arises, and then keep focusing on that place in the mind and wait until the next thought arises, and just observing it. Is that going toward the same goal as the technique you just introduced?
No, not at all. Since
Okay.
that is very basic mindfulness idea. Here is we are not observing thoughts. If we chase thoughts, there will be endless. It will be meaningless. So I'm not sure what level it is, but it's good to tension have to notice that, but we are not focusing on that. We're trying to not focusing. when you look at your mind, this technique, subject object should be collapsed because there's no subject and object. The Rigpa is looking at the Rigpa. It's not, there is no two things. It's our mind nature only sees our mind nature. Conceptual mind will not see our mind. We call see the verb or recognize. That's just how makes sense to us. But there's not really seeing things. It's become one, yeah. It dissolve into that. That's why the experience is not practice for Dzogchen, and because experience could be rise and cease anytime. And this moment, the crucial part is you should not have experience. If you have experience, it means focusing on sensation. And experience could have all kind of experience. We have emptiness experience, luminous experience, bliss experience, and sometimes sadness, sometimes dullness, sometimes agitation. So these are sensations that call experience, but somehow we have not much term for use. Sometimes, of course, in Tibetan also called nyam, but nyam is not realization. Yeah, there is free understanding. Is like ash; it will fall apart. Experiences like a cloud; it will dissipate. The realization is like a space; it will never change. So experience is in a Dzogchen term or Dzogchen context is temporary things. It comes, goes. It doesn't mean that much, yeah. And James?
Thank you for doing this, Kempo. I've been reading and reciting this text since you first gave it to me when we first met, and I don't think I understood a line until you just explained it here. I'd like to ask a few questions about this verse we just covered. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yes, and also don't go too far. Just talking about these first two lines.
The first, yeah. This is in our share folder, by the way, for people who are curious. This is Lotsawa House. It's Adam Piercy. This is Sam Van Shake, which he mentions. I'm still formulating my question. So my question has to do with this line: when this nature itself is realized, that is the great source of freedom. Is it okay to discuss that, or do you just want to stick with these?
Maybe that's what we do next meeting, because today we've just focused on the ground, maybe.
Okay, then that concludes my question.
Okay. So that's called ground. We are on the ground. Whether you want, yes.
Kokyo Shoho.
Okay, I think my pronunciation or how to pronounce. You say Kokyo?
Yeah.
Kokyo?
Tokyo, and
That's
so we're also Zen practitioners and Dzogchen.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And we have a few Zen practitioners. Yes, do you have any comments?
I have a question actually. So you were saying so beautifully of here we are, Dharmakaya, and I'm wondering each time in meditation or when I ponder it, like now in listening and contemplating your teaching, I'm each time I wonder if in my experience, I'm saying, oh, Dharmakaya, am I already like in a concept, like am I already like conceptually off? Like, is that thought alone, is that already going too far? When
No, I think it's good idea to start from that. We are in Dharmakaya, or we are Dharmakaya. So that confidence is bring us to believe ourselves. It's even we maybe these somehow conceptual upgraded us, but we are that means then we can achieve that perfectly once we obscuration of a concept disappear, then we are pure Dharmakaya. I think that need to build from the beginning. It's helpful, powerful.
we appreciate it to point out of how far this can go. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. And James?
All right, I think I've refined my question a bit. So, I'm trying to understand this as, so what happened during your teaching is I realized when we're learning the view, this is teaching on the view, this first verse. But then once we have some sense and some practice with it, then when we read these lines, that's not just, it's meant to be like a reminder that puts us right directly into that condition, right? Like, remember, this is who I am, Dharmakaya, this is what the reality is, Dharmata of the ground. And those reminders connect us with the pointing out instructions or whatever. So in that way, when you were giving the instruction, it was like an instant pointing out.
Yes, that's pointing out means mainly means how much we can trust in ourselves. But yes,
So really, this verse is saying, forget who you think you are. This is what you are, Rigpa Dharmakaya. Forget what you think the appearances are. They're ground manifestations. And now
yes,
settle directly into that.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah, that's how I got it. Thank you.
yes, that's great. And I'm sure there's a lot of much more inputs will come. But today's we maybe stop here because more Dzogchen sort of philosophy that's heavy, kind of, if you're not familiar with, it's a little bit difficult, but only 2 lines to deal with. Repetition is very important, not only understanding, but practice. So if you can practice a little bit and just simple way of looking at, if cherish your thoughts, that is not called trick you practice. If so that's why I don't chase thoughts. That's the main part of the Dzogchen practice. Don't think about past thoughts that maybe already gone. So that's we don't need to think about. And then future plans are this time you can dedicate that for a moment because we sleep half of our life. We don't think we are wasting time, but we just can dedicate few minutes, few hours to really think about, sit down and think about or don't think about anything. That's that's the point. And even don't pay attention in a moment, the present moment. That's the main point. Just don't forget looking at your mind. How to look at is keep looking at. Yeah. Okay. Then we do dedication here maybe.
Is there a particular one you'd like, Kempala?
I'm not sure what we have.
We have these, but the Tibetan and English are separate. So would you like to recite the Tibetan, or would you like us to just
Yeah,
do the English?
I recite Tibetan first and then someone English. Dun zon tu zon za be ge za ge chen re za ba me be yi xi ji pur son yang da chen bu ji da ne zo ba chen long do.
All sources of virtue amassed throughout the three times, as represented by this practice, are, with the immaculate wisdom of pure presence and awareness, sealed within the great and total purity of the three spheres, and in the expanse of the great perfection, the natural state, ah.
Okay, there's some messages, but I don't know what that are, but doesn't really matter, I think. Okay, is that is okay? How fast you want to go? I can go very fast as well. So if you don't want to hear some nonsense things, then we can go very fast. Okay.
I
Yeah.
personally thought the pace was very good, Kempo. I hope you'll continue in this way.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a good pace.
Okay. Okay, then see you next Saturday.
Thank you, Kempo.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Kempo.